Hi, I'm Jackstead. I make mediocre video essays on the internet, and today's video I will continue my grand quest to talk about the first 6 Final Fantasy games. I've already covered 1 and 2, and I've had a decent time so far. This time, the game I'm talking about is Final Fantasy III. Released in 1990 and the last to release on the Famicom, this game turned Final Fantasy into a trilogy. It brings back many old features from Final Fantasy I while also coming up with some of its own. And I'm just going to go out and say that this has got to be one of my favorite ones so far. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. As always, thank you for watching, and let's dive into Final Fantasy III. This game starts out with another basics text crawl. How original. Basically, long ago there was this world that was pretty cool and stuff, but then, a deadly earthquake came, killed millions, flooded like 90% of the world, and most importantly, swallowed the 4 magic elemental crystals into the earth, yada yada. Our story starts with our group of 4 orphans, finding their way inside this spooky cave, until they found another magic elemental crystal that gives them the power of employment, or jobs, I guess. FF3 brings back the job system from Final Fantasy I. However, it works a lot differently here. How jobs work in Final Fantasy III is that you can switch your character's jobs at any time, which is quite interesting. Also, throughout the playthrough, you will get a bunch of new jobs as well. Some upgrades for your characters, and other jobs completely new classes we haven't seen before. All these jobs have their own special abilities and tools that sets them apart. The game also requires you to change jobs at several times throughout it, like certain enemies or bosses can only be beaten by a certain job. There are also several times where changing your job could be tactically beneficial, like changing your party to be all magic users when you're going up against something with low magic defense. I really like this because not only does this add a lot more variation and strategy to the gameplay, but it also makes some of the balancing issues a lot better. In the last Final Fantasy games, and to some extent this one, the jobs were by no means balanced. But if that's ever the case in this game, you can just change up the jobs. Now, it's not like when you change jobs it's a completely free exchange, since each job has a job level that starts at 1. But each party member also has their own separate level apart from their job, so it's not like you're getting set back to square one every time you change things up. Back to the story. Our 4 heroes leave the cave and set out on their quest to find the other elemental crystals and save the world. We explore around a bit, save some people who were turned into ghosts, and we even get a cool airship that we can use to leave the valley we started. This is sick. In the other 2 Final Fantasy games, we didn't get the airship until way later, so now it's great that we get it now. Oh, well, that's annoying. Anyways, we make our way out to the rest of the world and fight some more monsters. Let me just say that this combat system is my favorite out of the game so far. This game takes a lot from Final Fantasy I instead of evolving from the mechanics of Final Fantasy II. And if you've seen my Final Fantasy II video, you know that that's probably for the best. The more advanced job system also adds a lot more diversity, which, let's be honest, after playing the last 2 games, is very needed. They also introduced what would become a Final Fantasy staple, summons, which in this game are like spells but really good, and that's kind of it to be honest, but it's still cool. My one complaint with this battle system would be the fact that they switched the old FF2 MP system for the FF1 D&D inspired spell slot system, which I think is a lot worse. Basically, how it works is that each spell has a spell level, and you only have so many spell slots, or times you can cast that spell, for each level. First of all, it's kinda complicated, but second of all, it doesn't implement D&D downcasting, aka when you cast a lower level spell at a higher level. This means there are several copy-paste spells that are just stronger versions of lower level spells, which I think is kind of lame. I will also say, I really like a lot of the bosses in this game. The difficulty, for me at least, was perfect. Each boss has their own gimmicks and strengths, making them feel unique. But they also were easy enough to beat on a first or second try, but hard enough where I was just barely making it through, which is how it should be in my opinion. We continue our quest until we get another airship. This one is even better than the last. I will say, however, I'm a little confused at the moment since this world is so small. How are all the crystals hiding so well in this tiny world? I guess I'll just have to keep looking and... Wow! Apparently, everything we've explored so far has just been this tiny little floating island in the middle of a vast sea. We get to meet this water princess person. Wow, this writing is really good. Who does something on the water crystal to make the land rise. This is a really cool moment. We get to watch as what was once this vast ocean gets turned into huge land masses for us to explore. Very cool. Also, the princess gets killed, and that's significantly less cool. Now is a good time to bring up that this game is really starting to feel like its own world, separate from regular generic fantasy. I talked about this a bit in my FF2 video as well, but Final Fantasy is really starting to take shape as its own series now. We have reoccurring creatures like Chocobos and now the added Moogles. The subplots here feel a lot more developed and interesting, the world feels more fleshed out, and all the new jobs add a lot more NPCs that will be used a lot in this game and many others. Final Fantasy III is where I feel things are starting to feel a lot less like any other RPG, but just Final Fantasy. And that's great! There's also a bunch of silly guys that I like. For example, these 4 guys known as the 4 Lads, who think they are the chosen 4 heroes and that you guys are just a bunch of Joe Schmoes. However, sometimes the creativity in this game is a bit strange. Like the several points where you have to turn yourself into a frog to enter certain dungeons. Yes, you turn into a frog. And yes, several times. They have a similar thing with Mini, but at least turning yourself small is like a regular trope and you still get to use your spells. As a frog, you are literally just a frog. You can't even cast spells. If someone could explain to me why there are so many frog moments in this game, please explain. Anyways, we explore this new landmass where we find all sorts of things, including this really cool city and... Again? You gotta be kidding me. So we go on a whole other side quest to get another airship, and eventually we get our final airship, the Invincible. To be fair, this thing is pretty cool. Sure, it's a lot slower than the others, but you can get to whole new areas and even rest your party in it. Very cool. After our long adventure, we learn that this world's problems can be traced back to this guy named... Okay, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I'm putting his name up on the screen and I'm calling it good. We climb up this magical crystal tower, and in typical RPG fashion, we get helped by all the friends we made along the way. We get into the fight, and man, it's a good one. I finished the fight by barely scraping by risking it all on an attack from my monk while the entire party lay dead. Wow, that was pretty cool, and wait, the game isn't over? Oh. Apparently, we must go defeat the evil darkness god or something in the world of darkness. Huh. How are they gonna make this harder since the last game was already pretty tough and... Oh my gosh, this is horrible. This isn't even the final boss. We have to fight 3 more other bosses before we get to it. And all 4 of these bosses suck. They all have instant death moves and cast all kinds of massive spells that deal damage to my entire party, and they're all as tanky as can be. Once you defeat the 4 horsemen of giving me a migraine, you get to the final boss, who takes all the frustration of the last 4 bosses combined into one fight, and then some. This game, at the very end, is a slog, and truly sickening. The game was doing so well with bosses so far. What happened here? Anyways, we defeat the final boss and win the game, but man, that stunk. To wrap things up here, besides for that gruesome late game, Final Fantasy III was a fairly fun experience that I'd recommend. The job system is fun, the story is a little silly but can still be taken seriously, and overall, I had a pretty fun time. There are still a few kinks to work out, but I'm sure we'll get to them eventually. I'm really curious now to see what Final Fantasy IV will have to offer. I'm a small channel at the moment, so if you enjoyed, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed or checked out some of the other Final Fantasy videos if you haven't already seen them. With that, I hope you have a wonderful day.